happening, people? It's your girl Minna. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Saturday. Let me know how you are feeling today. Manchester United 2, Everton 2. We've got a bit to talk about. So, yeah, man, make sure you hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well if you are new here. If you are just coming through off the back of, I guess, the Chelsea game that is slowly coming to an end. 1-1 between Villa and Chelsea. Marcus Rashford getting an assist for Aston Villa, in case y'all did not know. But we got a lot of problems on our side to talk about at Manchester United, because there is no one that can tell me today that Manchester United deserved a point. There's nobody could that. Even myself, as a United fan, I can't say we deserved it, but I'll take it any single day of the week. Everton looked miles better, especially in the first half in comparison to Manchester United. Ruben Amorim did make some tactical tweaks in the second half, which led to Man United being able to walk away with a point. But really, I think there's a lot more players that stood out for the worse rather than for the better for Manchester United, especially in the first half. In the first half, I think really it was just Patrick Dorgu for me that was really just the positive sign. Bruno started to grow into the game in the second half. But there's just so many players I need to talk about, guys. There's so many players I need to talk about. And we're going to talk about them as well because I've got it here noted. So we're going to go through all of that. Obviously, if we want to talk positives, then we can say, Chido, for me, impressed. I saw a lot more from Chido in about 20 minutes than I did in 70 from Rasmus Hojlund, or 100 and something minutes if we want to count the Spurs game as well. I actually realized that aerial duels in the last 2 games, fun fact, aerial duels in the last 2 games, Rasmus Hojlund has won 1 out of 10. Chido took him 11 minutes to win 1 aerial duel. I mean, that is just highlighting one of many weaknesses that Rasmus Hojlund has. But I think the biggest Man United have a problem with their strikers. And by the way, Aston Villa have just gone 2-1 up, and Marcus Rashford has just got another assist. So we're here talking about United's front line and the issues that they have, and the player that Ineos decided to freeze out, Ruben Amorim decided to freeze out, has now got 2 assists in about 30 minutes of football. I think he came on in the second half. But anyways, we're not going to talk about and focus on other teams or players that are playing for other teams. Let's just focus on United. And you know what, guys? I don't know how you feel, but genuinely speaking, I feel defeated. Like, there is nothing left in me for me to see the slightest positive in the season. There's really nothing. If anybody out there has anything positive that they can try and share with us over the last couple of games, then please do share it with us. But me personally, there is absolutely nothing positive that I can take from Manchester United over the last couple of months. Today, after the first half, it was another game that Manchester United have failed to score in the first half in the Premier League in open play. The last time they scored in the first half was against Brighton at the end of January. That was a pen. And before that, I think it was like Forest back in like December, the middle of December, scoring in the first half. So that says a lot. That just shows you the magnitude of Manchester United's problems. And I say this all the time. Ruben Amorim just needs to buy himself some time. He just needs to buy himself some time to the summer transfer window so that he can get the opportunity to bring players for his system, players that can play under him, and get rid of quite a few of these players. Because I think some of these players truly, well and truly, they have to go. They have to go. And then United got Ipswich on the horizon. I mean, I just saw Ipswich lose to Spurs, to get hammered by Spurs 4-1. And rewatching that game, I don't even think United could do to Ipswich what Spurs did to them. And that's just me being genuinely honest. The last time we faced a relegation battling team, Southampton, we needed a hat-trick from Ahmad in 12 minutes, in the last 12 minutes of the game, to win the game. We've lost to Wolves, just about beat Leicester in the FA Cup, just about beat them in the league. Manchester United don't beat people convincingly. And I think under Ruben Amorim, we've won 4 or 5 Premier League games. We've lost a whole heap of them, and we've drawn quite a few. I said this the other day on stream. I said that the Ipswich game for me would be a true telling sign for Ruben Amorim to see if he's learned anything from his first game to the Ipswich game. By the time, Ipswich was Ruben Amorim's first game of the season, or first game of his campaign as a Manchester United manager. It was 1-1 thanks to an early Rashford goal. But if he's not kind of learned anything from then to now, then there are some big issues. But big up to everyone. Listen, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. It looks like Aston Villa actually might get a result against Chelsea, which doesn't really impact us. It really does not impact us at all. But let's go through the lineup today. Let's actually start with today's lineup. I will start with probably what I think. I think this is the strongest team that Ruben Amorim possibly could have put out for Manchester United. Having Eriksen and Garnacho on the bench as bench options is good, because that's just impact directly off the bench. But in terms of what United can offer, in terms of a starting 11, this is probably, unfortunately, the most strongest one that we have right now. However, with saying that, I am not sold on Dalot as a starter for Manchester United. The more I watch him in this system in particular, the more I realize maybe he won't be a star permanently, but maybe he can be a backup option, because at left-sided centre-back, he was horrendous. His positioning was poor. His aggressive traits or aggressive nature, maybe, that the manager wants to see from his wide-sided centre-backs, horrible. Ability to read the game, poor. The ball progression, I think maybe it's because I'm so used to Lisandro Martinez on that left side channel, but today made me realize the amount of space that Dalot was getting on the left and what he was doing with that space just further solidified to me that he cannot be one of the wide centre backs. And maybe because I'm comparing him to what Leacher offers on the ball, I don't think that's really harsh. But now I'm kind of like, you know what? Let's get to the summer and sign another centre back, and maybe have Dalot obviously as a backup option, which it's not the end of the world. A backup option for Dalot would not be the end of the world. However, between Dalot and Maguire today, I felt like it was dumb and dumber in the back line. And I hate using those kind of terms, like those kind of abusive terms, if you want to call it, or insulting words. But I really felt like it was the blind leading the blind in that back line today. We're not going to talk about... We'll talk about it, sorry, that penalty shout, Ashley Young just being Ashley Young. But even with that, I think it's the stupidity from Maguire and Dalot, both of them, to actually tug on his shirt. I feel like sometimes, even though it's not a penalty and it was a clear dive, I feel like sometimes in those moments in the box, all refs need, or all players really need, is just a little bit of contact, and they will milk it. The only thing is, Ashley Young milked contact before it actually came. Eventually, when the contact was there, he was already on his way halfway down to the floor. But Dalot and Maguire both decide to tug on his shirt. I mean, game management is a big thing, right? It's something that Man United don't really have, because there's a lot of attributes that Manchester United don't really have. However, game management is one of them. And if you feel like in the 90th minute and we're going to talk about Onana, because I feel like he's always putting his defenders in very dangerous positions. But if you feel like the reasonable thing to do is to tug on the shirt of an opponent in the box when it's 2-2 and you are really pushing for that third goal, I think it's foolish. It's foolish. It's a lack of quality. It's a lack of mentality. It's just a lack of everything from both Dalot and Maguire. And I think Maguire is getting a lot of the criticism today. But even for the second goal, I don't even think people realize, where the hell was Dalot? Why was Maguire caught out in the first place with Beto running, down the right-hand side, when Dalot should be, in my opinion, covering that area? I feel like a lot. I wish I had a screenshot of it, but when I watched the goal back multiple times, what I noticed is that because Patrick Dorgu is pushing up so far, and that's what Ruben Amorim wants. He wants his left backs to kind of push up over here. Dalot was literally near enough here. He was literally near enough, or even further up at that point. He was so far up that essentially it turned into a 2v2 for Everton. I don't think Ruben Amorim, in his system and in his style of play, I don't think Ruben Amorim would ever want his centre-backs to be caught out in a counter 2v2 in particular. I just don't see it. I just don't see it personally. Now, like I said, this lineup for me is probably the strongest one for Ruben Amorim, with the players that are lacking right now and the players that are at his disposal. But I liked Patrick Dorgu. Let's actually talk about Patrick Dorgu. Let me see what you guys are actually saying. David says, I don't think he works as a wide centre-back. He'd be better in central centre-back. Maguire would be worse out wide, in my opinion. I agree. I don't think Maguire would be good out wide, but I don't like what I've seen from Dalot in the wide channels as a wide centre-back. I've seen him now in the right-sided centre-back position. I've seen him now in the left-sided centre-back position. I don't like anything that I've seen from him. And the problem that I have with Dalot playing as a central centre-back is the inability for him to progress the ball. Now, I don't think he's any different to Maguire in that instance. I think what he has up on Maguire when he plays in that central role is, I think his acceleration is a lot quicker than Maguire. I mean, Maguire is not known to be fast, but I think his acceleration is a bit quicker, so he can get back a lot quicker in transition or in certain situations. Maybe had today that position that Maguire was in for the second goal, with that ball coming in behind from Abdoulaye Doucouré, maybe had it been Dalot in that position, I think he would have been able to recover the pace a lot quicker than what Maguire was able to do. But I equally do not think Dalot is out of this world. Like, I don't know if I'm being harsh. I don't know if it's, he doesn't suit the system. But I like Dalot when United were playing with a back four. When United were playing with a back four with two centre backs, I like that. But equally with saying that, that's not what United are doing anymore. So we have to accept, if players are not really fitting into this system, what's next for them? What's next for them? And I do think, don't get me wrong, I think Dalot is a decent player. I definitely do think Dalot is a decent player, and I think he's a good player. But I don't think he's going to be a consistent starter for Manchester United in that back three in particular. Let me see what else you guys are saying in the chat. Big up Mina, how did it come to this, brother? I don't know. I do not know. Patrick Dorgu. Let's talk about Patrick Dorgu, because I think he was a shining light at the end of a dark tunnel today. From minute one, I noticed something is Man United were trying to get him on the ball. And you actually realize, I don't know if you guys realized today, the difference it makes having a left-footed player as your left wing back. It makes a heap of difference because you can hit that byline and put a ball in. Now, I did think, definitely in the first half, I felt like United were spamming crosses into the box. And this is what I don't understand, is why United spam crosses into the box knowing Rasmus Hojlund cannot win an aerial duel. I need to see what Rasmus Hojlund's aerial duel completion or percentage is for the season. It can't be more than like 19%. The guy cannot win an aerial duel. Joshua Zirkzee isn't any better, but equally with saying that, Joshua Zirkzee tended today to make some late runs into the box. So a lot of the time it was Rasmus Hojlund coming up against multiple centre-backs. But even with saying that, I don't know why Manchester United insisted in the first half in just spamming balls into the box. Patrick Dorgu was getting in some great positions, going for the cutback. It tend to not beat the first or the second Everton defender, but you can see that the intention is there. And that's what you want for a player that's playing in his third game for Manchester United. You just want the intention to be there. Play with intent. Get on the ball. Get forward. Get involved in build-up, get back defensively. I still think Patrick Dorgu has a lot to learn. And in my opinion, he is nowhere near a complete product for Manchester United, but he's definitely a breath of fresh air in comparison to what Manchester United has had to deal with in the last couple of months for wing-back position. Now, I would have loved to see Dorgu on the left and Ahmad on the right, but unfortunately I don't think we'd get that opportunity. And it would have actually been nice to see Amorim do that in Dorgu's debut. Big up to Uthman, says, damn, United got Mina doing Saturday night streams. I need someone to talk to, guys. I need people to talk to, because unfortunately only one of my siblings is a United fan. So if I'm trying to talk about this game, I'm just talking to a bunch of other people, my cousins, friends, etc., who are all non-United fans, and some of my friends are going through it themselves. Some of them are Arsenal fans, so they're kind of going through it today as well. Some of them are Chelsea fans; they're going through it today as well. So I just need someone that, because you know what, guys, I don't know if you lot are the same, but when I talk about Manchester United with non-Man United fans, the way that they speak about United's problems is very kind of baseless. It doesn't really have a foundation to it. They just blame it on, like a lot of the people I know, a lot of my friends, they just criticize Amorim. Like they just criticize Amorim. And I'm like, guys, the problem is bigger than Ruben Amorim. But as fans, they don't know the details of the club because obviously they don't follow the club, whereas we do. So it is frustrating to talk about United sometimes. So sometimes I'm like, if I want to talk about football, I was playing, you know what I did today, guys? I watched the United game, recorded the video, uploaded my video. I had Arsenal game on and the Bournemouth game on, and I was sitting back in my gaming chair, reclined back, playing God of War Ragnarok. That's it. Like that, I'm like, why am I gonna let United stress me? And you know what I'm gonna do for the rest of the evening? And then I made myself some dinner, ate my dinner. Now I'm here on stream, and after this stream, I'm gonna go watch Barcelona game with my chair reclined, playing God of War Ragnarok. That is what I'm gonna do. I am not gonna let Manchester United ruin my mood. I'm not going to do that. I know a lot of you lot might be watching the boxing. I don't really watch boxing, but I encourage you guys to do the same. And you know what? I've always said this, but I have the utmost respect for fans globally that watch Manchester United that have to wake up early to watch this crap or stay up late to watch this crap. Either way, you're sleep deprived. You see me today, I rolled out of bed 10 o'clock. Had 2.5 hours before kickoff. I know people that live in America that are waking up at 5:30 for a 12:30 kickoff. I know people that live in like Far East Asia where when Man United are playing a late kickoff, stay up till late. You don't have to stay up or wake up early to watch this crap. Just stay asleep. Just stay asleep because it's not worth it. Genuinely speaking, I don't think it's really worth it. And you know what the worst thing is, guys, is that we're going to sit here, we're going to talk about the Everton game, and then we're going to sit here and do it all over again after the Ipswich match. Because I guarantee you, I don't think nothing will change between the Ipswich game and this Everton game. Now, actually speaking about the Ipswich game, Ruben Amorim's comments after the game actually kind of interested me quite a bit. He said, I see what the players saw and they know and what people see. We lost a lot of balls without any pressure. We have 3 men. Sometimes we don't respect the positioning. And then we talk about anyone who watched a little bit of Everton in the spell, know that they will be really good at second balls and the 2 goals are from second balls. They are fighting and that's why you get disappointed. You see what the thing sounds like? You know what it sounds like? Players they don't play with intent. They don't play with intent. Now, Ruben Amorim was actually asked about, the fact that United are struggling in the first half in comparison to the second half. He said, I'm not worried about that. Every game has a history. So in that moment, I just focused on trying to help my players. Now I'm going to be worried when I try to see the games, trying to prepare the next games. At halftime, you just focus on trying to help the team. You know what? He says a lot sometimes. Ruben Amorim just says a lot. At the moment, would you have Heaven start at left-sided centre-back for Ipswich game, accommodating Dorgu? I wouldn't, because I wouldn't throw him into a game so prematurely. Like, the guy has not played for Manchester United. Hell, he has not even played. He's played 1 academy game for Manchester United, I think, under 21s game. That's it. That's it. We shouldn't put this much pressure on young players, especially young players that have barely any football experience at this stage right now at the club. Chido, I think, is an exception because I think, number one, he was brought in with the intention of progressing into the first team, and B, he's had a lot more of academy football under his belt in comparison to Heaven. So I personally, I wouldn't throw him in at this stage. But actually, talking about Chido, let's talk about Chido. On the topic of Chido, what did you lot make of his cameo this afternoon or earlier today? Because I liked what I saw. I can't lie. I don't want to pipe it up too much. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I definitely felt like he offered something. And that's the most important thing, I think, in my opinion, is that players come off the bench and they just offer something. You don't have to necessarily, as an academy kid, for my expectations for Chido coming off the bench, you don't have to offer 100% change. But if you have a slight impact on the game, whether that's making the right pass, whether it's winning an aerial duel, whether it's occupying a centre back that allows, another player to get a shot off, that is for me a good contribution. And in my eyes, this is his real first game for Manchester United, because that game against Spurs, 3 minutes off the bench, nothing. So this was 20 minutes of football to really see what he has to offer. And I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'm gonna be very honest, and I let me know if you agree. What he offers and what Rasmus Hojlund offers is clear as day as night. However, what I will say is that I don't want to throw on the expectations on Chido's shoulders, because essentially that's how I think Rasmus Hojlund drowned with the expectations of being a Manchester United striker. What I hope for Chido, and I'm sure the coaching staff know well, they know better than me in terms of how to integrate him into the first team. But I'm sure that they have a plan to progress him into the first team, and eventually have a plan for him in the first team. However, Hojlund did nothing. Didn't Chido get more touches than thing? Let's actually have a look at it here. Hojlund, I know that he won an aerial duel and Hojlund didn't. In terms of touches, Rasmus Hojlund had 12 touches in 70 minutes. And that's bad, guys. 12 touches in 70 minutes, 3 touches in the opposition's box, and 2 times he was dispossessed. Rasmus Hojlund did not win one duel in the entire game. That's ground duels and aerial duels. He went 0 for 4 in ground duels and 0 for 4 in aerial duels. Chido, in 20 minutes, he had 10 touches. So 2 less passes than Rasmus Hojlund, despite the fact that he played 50 minutes less. He had 1 touch in the opposition box in comparison to 3 that Rasmus had, and 2 passes in the final third, same as him, same as Rasmus Hojlund. He won 1 aerial duel and he lost 2 ground duels. Statistically, if we just want to go off of stats, he statistically contributed more to Manchester United, despite the fact that it's not about the contribution Olympics right now. It's not the contribution Olympics. So we can't really I don't want to turn 2 players against each other, because at the end of the day, Manchester United needs everyone to be 100%. Like we need Chido to be good. We need Rasmus to be good. We need Xerxes to be good. However, what I will say, do I have a picture of Hojlund here? Yes, I do. What I will say is that I am beyond underwhelmed with Rasmus Hojlund. Even when I felt like Man United were playing to his strengths, where they were trying to put in balls in behind for him to chase down, he was running down a blind alley every single time. And I'm speaking specifically Everton game today. I'm speaking specifically about that. Every time he got the ball, and I don't know what it is, when I see Rasmus Hojlund making a run in behind and someone passes it to him, and I know he's going to get the ball because he's quite quick. He's got a bit of pace on him. It's like I just see him going wider and wider and wider and wider, non-stop. Like, I'm just like, bro, stop, go back. I hate it. I literally scream at my TV, and I did it today multiple times. There was one time where he made a run in on the right channel, and he's just running wide. I'm thinking, bro, you're about to run the ball out of play. Where are you running to? If there's nothing there for you for the angle, and he even did it actually on the left-hand side, because I thought he was going to shoot. So I'm like, you know what? In that position, if you're going to shoot, I don't mind. Just shoot. At that point, United had no shots on target, right? We had 2 shots on goal, none on target at that time. But I just felt like he was continuing to just run the ball out, like towards the byline, and I got scared. He runs behind opposition defenders. I don't know why. I'm always wondering where he is going. he runs with no direction. Like, have you guys ever gone for a run and you have no kind of route, you're just running? That's what I feel like Rasmus Hojlund does. He's a road runner. He's a road runner. The embarrassing thing, Mina, is he's so late to runs when Bruno lofts it into space, but instead engages contact to draw a foul. That is another thing that I don't like about him. That's another thing that I don't want to say I don't like about him. It bothers me. One of a weakness of his is that he's always trying to draw the contact. And you know what I realized? Even when it is a foul, refs are not giving it. Even when it is a foul, refs are not going to give it to Rasmus Hojlund. And I don't know if it's because he's always looking for the foul or he's genuinely being body slammed into the ground. I don't know which one it is. I think it's more so the latter than the former. However, even if if you know the refs are not going to give it to you, just play the pass first time. Like, because I feel like what another issue is for me with Rasmus Hojlund is when he has the ball at his feet. So you're telling me out of possession, you're causing a hindrance. And in possession, you're causing a hindrance. How is Manchester United meant to utilize you in that case? I remember when Ruben Amorim joined and people were talking about he's going to be the Gyökeres for Ruben Amorim. Please be for real, guys. Please be. Let's crawl before we walk. And when we walk, we can learn how to run. Okay? Because when he has the ball at his feet, he is from my opinion, he struggles. He struggles. And he is a shadow of himself because he was not necessarily always like that. He was not always like that. If you remember last season, especially like the goals that he scored in the Champions League, they come from him picking up the ball in a deep position and being able to dribble and run with the ball, keep it at close quarters and get a strike off. That is the Rasmus Hojlund that I need to see in possession, especially in the middle third. And one thing I will say is what I've noticed from Hojlund and Xerxes playing together, where Xerxes, I don't know if they're playing as two strikers or Xerxes playing in that 10. I think Xerxes is playing in that 10. Hojlund tries to come and drop deep, but Xerxes already there. Just stay, occupy the back line. You know, you got Branthwaite, etc. Force runs in behind. If you can't do that, when Xerxes has the ball, when Bruno has the ball, drop in and link up well. You don't always necessarily have to try and run with the ball. You don't have to do that, especially when you haven't really, in my opinion, been succeeding with that. Today I was out with my father, who birthed my love for football and this club. We were done watching the local football on offer, but he didn't want to go home once he the score is 2. Your poor father, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. I am very, very sorry to hear that. Amorim needs to start Garnacho. I don't know why he benches him. We're going to come to that because I do think that Garnacho offers us a lot more off the bench at the moment. Big up to Steffi says, even if the opposition defenders aren't around him, he seems to run to be behind them. So the defender is between him and the incoming ball. Make it make sense. I'm glad I'm not the only person that's noticing this kind of stuff. I'm glad it's not just me noticing this stuff. Let's talk about bro, this performance today from the centre backs, atrocious. The options for the not the options, the performances from United's centre backs today, horrendous. I can't even. Atrocious isn't even the word. Horrendous is not even the word. It was diabolical. Absolutely diabolical. Harry Maguire was underwhelming today. Very, very underwhelming. And you know what? I feel like defensively, there was a lot of things he did do, but the things that he didn't do is sticking out to me. That's the problem. You know how they say, like, you could do 10 amazing stuff for someone, and then the one time you F up, they're going to remember that. That's how I feel about Maguire today. Because both goals, he had a role to play with. If the first goal wasn't solely him, I think multiple players had something to contribute to that. But the second goal, I can't look past that. And this is why I think with Man United, this is not just aimed at Harry Maguire, but a lot of the players in the team, they have way too many errors in them. I was watching last night, 2 a.m. in the morning, I know, I'm sad, guys. But on Sky Sports, they were showing the 2014-15 season, Man United versus Leicester. Man United lost 5-3, if you don't remember. Di Maria, Van Gaal, all them guys. But United were up 3-1, right? And I was watching it because I was thinking, rah, like, number one, United don't even play football like this. Even though at that time we were acting like this was the worst football ever. Life humbled us. But United were up 3-1 and then they conceded the second goal. And Wayne Rooney was the captain, right? And he looks to Tyler Blackett, Chris Smalling, David De Gea. He gave them, he's shouting at them. And I was sitting there watching and I was thinking to myself, I cannot remember the last time I seen a Man United captain shout at his teammates for conceding a stupid goal. That was my takeaway from, my lessons learned after watching that game back. There was so many other stuff that I learned. But I watched that and I thought, wow, I have not seen a Man United captain hold their teammates accountable for stupidity that they do in the backline. And today was an example of that. And this is why I'm leading to the point of not just Harry Maguire, but a lot of players in the team, for me, mentally are weak. They are mentality-wise, they are weak. They are fragile. They cannot play with intent. They can't play on the front foot. They cannot play without someone physically holding their hand and leading them through the game. But today, the reason why I'm mentioning Harry Maguire is because the first goal, it's not just him. Diogo Dalot has a chance to clear it. Mazraoui has a chance to clear it. Maguire had 2 or 3 chances to clear it. What stands out to me from Maguire's performance today is the second goal. Number one, because of his positioning for that ball in behind to Beto. That is the first kind of red flag. Then he and Mazraoui switch positions, but he cannot get across in time because he's not got the pace. And then Onana does the thing again, like I said, he puts his teammates in danger by parrying the ball away, as he likes to do quite often. And Maguire doesn't even jump for the ball. And I'm thinking, there is no way. You don't need to have eyes in the back of your head. In my opinion, you do not need to have eyes at the back of your head to know that in that position, you should just jump and head the ball away. Doesn't matter. Head it behind goal. Head it to the right, to the left. Head it backwards, whatever. Just head it away. Because you should know, I think, in my opinion, you should know that the pressure is going to come from the player behind you. You should know, in my opinion, that a team like Everton, who are known, Ruben Amorim said it after the game. He said they came into the game knowing that the second balls, the second chances, Everton will try and be first to it. So if you've done your due diligence before the game, you should know that Abdoulaye Doucouré or Beto or someone is going to come flying over your head to try and win the ball. You should know that. But Harry Maguire didn't. And that is a simple reason as to why I say that Manchester United, I said this in my post-match video, people were saying it's schoolboy defending. People saying it's amateurish defending. It's Sunday League defending. I actually think it's an insult to anyone that plays Sunday League football to compare this to Sunday League football. For me, it's childish. It's childish. It's like as if you've just thrown the ball onto the pitch and you've told 11 guys, go chase the ball. Go and chase the ball. I don't watch the games in particular and see any sort of structure in our defensive positioning. I don't see it. I see us playing with a flat back 5 against Everton, all due respect, yeah? But I saw us... Fuck, let me go find the picture, man. I can't remember what... Oh, I think I might have the picture here. Because I saw a back 5 today. The shape just pissed me off, bro. This is United's shape out of possession, guys. What the hell is that? What the heck is that positioning? You can't tell me that's reasonable. You could look at the gap between. So this here is Casemiro. This is Ugarte here. Yeah. Here's Bruno, Joshua Zexi, Rasmus Hojlund is not in the shot. Look at Diogo Dalot, yeah? And I know this didn't lead to a moment, it didn't lead to a goal, but look at, and this is why I say players need the manager to sit there and hold their hand on the pitch. Look at Diogo Dalot. He's near enough about to lick the back of Mazraoui's head. That's how close he is to him. He's got a player in behind him that he's not paying attention to. He's probably paying attention to this guy here, but this guy here shouldn't be his problem. It shouldn't be his problem. And again, that's why I'm saying that players don't know how to play in the positions that the manager is asking them to. Maguire, as the central kind of centre-back, will always be occupied by the player playing up top. But the spacing between the three centre-backs is, look at it, guys. Look at the spacing. This is like a meter. I don't know. I'm making it up. But say this is this is like 2 meters. There is double the space between Dalot and Maguire than there is Mazraoui and Maguire. And that's why I say also it leads to the point of Dalot. Dalot is, because Mazraoui is close to Maguire, Dalot is getting closer to him. And Dalot's positioning is so poor. So poor. I actually, watching Patrick Dorgu going forward now just shows me how ass Diogo Dalot is. But I don't want to single him out. But this is the kind of things that I notice in the game. And I think today, if you are watching on TNT, you can literally hear the manager shouting. I could hear him shouting, Diogo, move. Because Diogo Dalot didn't know where to go. He didn't know where his position should be, his starting position, his average position. He didn't know anything. And I'm thinking, you're 3 months in to this manager being here. You telling me you cannot even grasp the basics. The basics. I ain't asking you to be a Frimpong or a Dumfries. Yeah, I'm not asking you to be that. I'm just asking you to try and navigate the wing-back position to the best of your abilities. However, you look like a donut 90% of the time when you're playing there. And fans are counting down to you leaving the club or you getting sold, etc., etc. I have so many more examples of this in particular. And like I said, I personally cannot blame. I can't blame that on the manager. I can't imagine that the manager is telling them to play a staggered back five that looks like number 1, 2, 3 are so close to each other. No wonder why Everton were targeting Manchester United, these two in particular. But why does he keep playing him, Minna? Is it because there's no one else to play? Like, that's the only thing I can think of. That's the only thing I can think of, because I genuinely feel like had Ahmad not got injured, yeah, I think we might have seen Ahmad at right wing back. And it might have been the end of Dalot at right wing back. I don't know what's happened to him. I just think, you know what? And I said this at the time last season. I said this at the time last season when Dalot was performing so well. And we can't kind of look past the fact that he did play well last season. But I said, take it with a pinch of salt when a player is, you know, outshining the rest of the team when the rest of the team is crap. Just because he was the best player last season and player of the season, it was a crap season. It was a horrible season. And 90% of the players were crap. Excuse me. So take it with a pinch of salt how good he was last season. Big up to Kadeem says Dorgu was really good. I really liked what I saw from Dorgu. I'm not gonna lie. I really did like what I saw from Patrick Dorgu. Shout out to Ugarte though. Why is every picture that I have, guys, Maguire's just doing a madness? What the hell happened here? Oh, this is the penalty. Yeah, this is the penalty. I was gonna say, what the hell is Maguire doing laying down on the floor? But this was the penalty. Ashley Young, yeah? You're 40 years old and you're still diving. Have some class. Have some class. However, what I will say is that it was a stupid decision from Maguire and Dalot for both of them to tug at his shirt. Had he not dived early and he dived at the time that he got his shirt tugged, I think it would have been a pen. I genuinely think it would have been a penalty. But let's go with some positives, man. I'm tired of talking about negativity, man. People need to leave Bruno Fernandes alone. Like people need to leave Bruno Fernandes alone. And the reason why I'm saying this is because sometimes you need your player, you need a captain to take the game by the scruff of the neck. And sometimes you just need that one moment of luck. And that moment of luck for me was Abdoulaye Doucouré blocking the free kick with his arm, because then Bruno got a second chance at it. Bruno for me was Man United's game changer. And in these moments when you're down and out 2-0 at Goodison Park, 12:30 kickoff. Nobody ever wants a 12:30 kickoff. But when you're down and out, you need one player to just step up the resurgence. Did Man United deserve a point? Like, genuinely speaking, guys, as United fans, do you guys think, if we're not talking as United fans, or we're talking as football fans, do you think United deserved a point? Because I don't think they did. But I will take it every single day of the week, because it gets us to 30 points. But I do feel like Everton, for most parts of the game, was the better team. They were the better team. Bruno Fernandes completed the most dribbles in the game, completed the most passes during the game, got his goal as well. And he didn't really lose a lot of ground duels. He only lost 4 out of 12. He, in my opinion, in the second half, when he regressed into the midfield, he was the better. It was better for him when Ruben Amorim played him in a more deeper role, taking Casemiro off. But for me, that don't always work, can I say? Bruno Fernandes in the deeper role does not always work. It does not work against teams, especially that press in that midfield and play 3 guys in the midfield. Today, I think it worked because Everton played 2. Let me see what you're actually saying about Bruno. When Bruno is fired up, the team is fired up. And when Bruno is fired up once, I don't know how many matches for a captain. That's not good. He was so positive in the opening few minutes with his passing, but the final ball was so bad. I feel like that is a story of Bruno Fernandes sometimes. To me, in football, the results is always what you deserve, unless there are some mad decisions that helps one team to the result, if that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. You're basically saying both teams deserve the point by the end of the game. Doucouré is so frustrating at times. He always gives stupid fouls. Every time Doucouré had the ball, I don't know what it is. Like, when people are tall, yeah, with long limbs, the way that they dribble always just makes me laugh. We conceded that penalty because Bruno lost the position at the halfway line, trying to do some flick heading pass. Let me see what else you guys are saying. Yeah, I think we deserve the point because Everton did nothing for the goals. We gave them the goals. They never passed through us. Both goals were Onana's nonsense and the back line's nonsense. At least it works. If Ugarte is by his side, no freaking Casemiro. So some of you lot are liking him in that deeper role. Love him or hate him, I despise him, but I always know there's something he can pull out his lucky charms. I'm not gonna lie. If Manchester United are down, if they do need a goal, if there's anyone that I'm counting to pull United out of it, it's Bruno. It's always going to be Bruno. It always has been Bruno. He's been that guy. And I genuinely feel like if Bruno played for any other team than Manchester United, if he played for another top team, another team that's contending for titles or, you know, contending for Champions League, I think more people would respect him and appreciate him. But it's because he's at United at what is a horrible time for the club. He might be one of them players that go out with never winning a Premier League title or a Champions League title. Shout out to Ugarte though for his first goal. What a time to get your first Man United goal. I mean, the volley was sweet. He hit that really nicely and it kind of spun away from Pickford. And like I said, what a time to get your first goal. But Ugarte scares me sometimes, guys. He really scares me out in possession. He doesn't look like he's press resistant on the ball. And sometimes I just think he's going to stomp on someone's foot. He's going to stomp on someone's foot and get sent off. That is the only thing that scares me about Ugarte. However, I will rather watch Ugarte in the midfield any day of the week than Casemiro. And no disrespect to Casemiro, because at his best he was amazing. But I just think he's been out of the squad for so long that when he comes into the team, until he gets match ready and match fit, he just looks like he's lost all the time. We need 2 Ugartes in that midfield. We need 3. We need 3 Ugartes because we need 3. I want to see a midfield of 3. I don't want to see 2 in the midfield. I don't want to see 2 in the midfield when we come up against a 3-man midfield, if that makes sense. When we do come up against a 2-man midfield, I don't mind 2 guys in the midfield. But when we need free players in the midfield against free, please let's play free midfielders. And Manuel Ugarte is, for me, always going to be one of them, 100%. Ugarte gets unfair criticism. He is basically doing the job of free midfield players. Bruno can't tackle well anything. Casemiro is slower than my grand RIP. Damn. The fact that I've seen him sky so much free kicks for when we needed a resurgent, he places it perfectly. Oh yeah, I think that's in reference to Bruno. Looking ahead to the next couple of games, I mean, I don't even want to look ahead to actually the next couple of games, so we're not going to do that. We're not going to. I was gonna talk about the Ipswich game, but I'm not even over the Everton game. I don't have it in me to watch Man United again midweek. Like, you just tortured us on Saturday. Now you want to torture us again on Wednesday. I can't do that. I really can't do that. But you guys know I will watch them, and we will watch them, and then we will sit here and complain collectively after that as well. How do you lot feel about Ruben Amorim? What's the general consensus around Ruben Amorim and Manchester United right now? Because I've seen a lot of people suggesting that he needs to go. I've seen some people even saying that Man United shouldn't give him a summer window. I've seen people saying United shouldn't give him a summer window because he cannot get anything out of the squad that he has at his disposal. I've seen people saying he should retreat back to a back four just until the summer comes so that he can get the players that he wants in. I've seen people saying that United should sack him right now. Honestly, all this stuff that I've seen it. And I've never seen such differing opinions across one manager. I have never, ever seen such different opinions. Because one part of me thinks, okay, I think he's been dealt a bad hand. But I also think the problems that Ruben Amorim is facing is not completely off of just the football on the pitch. I think there's so many other contributing factors to this mess up at Manchester United right now. I saw a report, a press release or whatever, that reportedly said Dave Brailsford, I don't even know why I'm calling him sir, Dave Brailsford and his cohorts are sick of hearing about how Manchester United dominated the Premier League for 2 decades under Sir Alex Ferguson. Brailsford feels the achievements of the past are weighing heavily on Man United and how they should go about the business of bringing back the glory days. So essentially, it sounds like Ineos are tired of what people talking about what United should have been, and this maybe are they tired of us talking about the standards of what Manchester United once was? You know, winning Premier League titles, winning Champions League titles under Sir Alex Ferguson. What is it that they're tired of? Now, a Manchester United insider reportedly told the Mirror, Ineos want absolutely nothing to do with the past. They don't want to hear about how things were done when Man United were winning 13 Premier League titles, and they won't accept any suggestion that lessons can be learned from when the club's greatest ever manager was in charge. It's all very well drawing a line under the last 12 years and saying, let's move on, but it's become an obsession, not to mention the period when Manchester United were one of the best teams in Europe. You know what it's like? It's like, I don't know, it's like being in a relationship and you know your partner had everything, looks, intelligence, money, house, car, everything, and then you break up, or your partner dies and you're now a widow, and then you want to meet someone else, but you just keep comparing everyone to your partner that died. That is a very bad example. That is a very bad example, but you lot get my gist. You guys get my gist. I don't think it's necessarily a negative thing to speak about what Manchester United what once was under Sir Alex Ferguson. I think to expect United to return to that is wrong, because yes, the club is a big part of that period, but also having that manager, he made that period be what it was for Manchester United, because he's such a great manager. He's a great manager. He knew how to navigate everything, and he knew how to deal with it. So he was able to influence factors that maybe managers at Man United have no business being a part of right now. I get that, number one. But Ineos, you have nothing to show Manchester United right now. You have nothing to sell to the fans. You have nothing. So to turn around and be like, we don't want anything to do with the past, yeah, because you weren't part of it. You weren't part of it. You weren't here when it happened. So you can't really even claim it. You have no right to do that. They're trying to put a line, I guess, under it. But if we were to go off of the last 20-something years, the 20-something years under Sir Alex, and the last 12, 13 years of Manchester United, you couldn't even lace the shoes of it. Like, that's how bad it's been. That's really, really how bad it's been. But I'm interested to see what becomes for Ruben Amorim, because I've said this time and time again. Ruben Amorim just needs to keep finding a way for United to get results. And I don't know why, because I have no expectations, yet somehow having no expectations leads to me still being disappointed every single game week. Like, I go into the game saying, yeah, I got no expectations, man. I got no, and then we lose or we draw, and I'm upset. And I'm upset. Yeah, it's the problem that I have. Maybe I need to look in the mirror myself. But one thing I have learned, I can say from today's game, is that a couple of these guys, a couple of these players, they got to go. They really, really got to go. And if they don't go, I don't want to see them starting next season. This season, you know what's crazy is, like, Europa League, off the back of that Everton game, do some of you lot still think United can beat Sociedad? Because I don't. And I said it after the draw on Friday. I said people are getting far too carried away with themselves, saying that Man United can go and win the Europa League. We can't even beat Everton. We can't even beat Everton. Let's see how Ipswich goes, because we might not even be able to beat Ipswich. And Ipswich just got slapped up 4-1 by Spurs. So let's not get too carried away with ourselves with Europa League. If Man United get anything from the season, and I'm talking about silverware in particular, then it will all be through luck. I don't expect Man United to play any team off the pitch. I haven't seen that since Everton on the 1st of December. Look how different Everton looked today in comparison to that game in December when Man United won 4-0. They look like two different teams. Different manager, but same players. Different manager, but the same crop of players. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. If you have not, make sure you go and check out my match reaction after the stream. Make sure you lot go check it out. I'm going to drop the link in the chat here as well, and let me know your comments below in the comment section of the video in terms of what you thought of the game. Tomorrow, what we got happening: daily dose of Mina, of course, then match reaction after the Liverpool Man City game, and then we'll see where the rest of the week takes us. But of course, we've got daily content every single day on the channel in the form of live streams or videos as well. So make sure you like hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Listen, guys, you got a roof over your head, you got clothes on your back, you got food on your plate, you got your heater on. You know, you're in your warm house. You can turn on the kettle, make a cup of tea. Say Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. God is the greatest. Yeah. Don't let football stress you. Don't let Manchester United stress you. There is more to life than that. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you lot noticed here, guys. Shout out to the Premier League, because they sent me a boxed limited edition of the Total 90 Nike football. That is there. It's right here, if you lot can't see. I have no intention to play with it. Like, I have no intention to take it to football tomorrow and play football with it. It's so beautiful. I forgot how nice Total 90 footballs looked. It takes me back to 2004, being a kid again. It takes me back to then. But I had to point it out just in case y'all didn't notice there. But listen, guys, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow, inshallah, with another daily dose and, of course, match reactions galore. Hit the like button on your way out, guys. Take it easy, man. I'm out. Peace.